Hi everybody, I am Jared Clark with Airguns of Arizona. Today we're going to be going back in time a little bit in terms of airgun technology and taking a look at a spring piston operated power gun. This gun in front of me is the Weihrauch HW97K. And like I said, this is a spring piston operated power gun. We're going to show you why sometimes less is more and why you can still get high quality out of something that could be deemed a little bit old technology or not the latest and greatest. Hopefully you stay with us till the end of this video, and in that process we can answer all the questions you may have about this rifle. Okay, so like we said, this is a Weihrauch HW97K. The K stands for carbine, and as you can see, this gun comes in right at about 40 inches in overall length. So that is what they consider the carbine version. We'll talk about power and all that stuff on the range. But what you get on the K model is an 11.8 inch barrel and some decent power to go with it. Coming in at an unscoped weight of 8.6 pounds, this rifle is a little stout, but it does provide enough power and accuracy to be truly an adult air rifle in my opinion. As you may see on this one of the centerpieces, something that grabs your attention almost immediately is this beautiful walnut stock we have on here. There are a lot of stock options available for this model. This one on top here is a bespoke FGR or fine gunroom model. These are going to be available as an FGR model. So if you are interested in getting something that is premier creme de la creme like this one is, call Airguns of Arizona. They can take care of you and let you know all the information about that. But just so you know, the one in front of me is what we would call the deluxe model. This is the top of the ladder. There really is nothing better looking than this. So the price tag might reflect that a little bit. But what I want to do now is show you all the other options that the gun is available in and what stocks you can order this in. The HW97K is available in a synthetic stock. It is available in a Beech wood sporter stock. It's available in a Beech Thumbhole style stock. It's available in the Walnut sporter like you see in front of me. It is available in a blue laminate sporter style. It is available in the new limited edition red laminate sporter style. And I think that's all the stock options that the gun is available in. And kind of with the caliber, there really isn't an incorrect or a correct answer. It's more so what you want the gun to be, look like, and pay in that process. So answer those three questions, and I'm sure there's one that matches exactly what you want. This one right here, to give you an idea of two things, both the Thumbhole style stock like we talked about, and then this one, more importantly, just to put it on camera, is they call it the 1899 series, but this is their limited edition special to celebrate their 125th year in business. On the 97s, they made a total of 600 for the world, so it tells you which number you are out of 600. But just a cool piece right here commemorating how long they've been doing it. They've been making guns since before World War I as a family, and they're still doing it moving forward. And that just shows you really kind of how cool of a history they have, and they've been making air guns as long or longer than I'm pretty sure everyone else on the planet right now. All right, here is another option in stocks that they have in the 97. This is what they call the black line, but it's a synthetic, it's a molded plastic stock. So a little bit more friendly in the price department, and I would argue probably a little bit more rugged. So if you're gonna carry one of these two around as a hunting gun, some people would say the black would arguably make a little bit more sense there, but you can just kind of see it's a Thumbhole with the synthetic, or you have the Walnut with the sporter style stock. Both have the same engine at the end of the day, but another example of a stock that it's available in. So what we're gonna do on this gun, this one is, like we said, this is the FGR top of the line, beautiful walnut stock. So we've seen that. It's got these nice texture lines right here, both on the pistol grip and on the forend. Really love the stock here. This one, like we said, is very much top of the line. You have a rubber butt pad right here. It's not adjustable, but it is a really good spot to put it into your shoulder. And then you have an ambidextrous cheek weld right here. So this is truly a right-handed or a left-handed gun. It's not specific to one or the other, so it adapts to both. Going forward on this gun, you hit obviously the action. It's broken into two parts, the beautiful stock here, and then where all the metal starts, this is the action. This is where we compress the spring. This is your compression tube. This is our cocking arm up here. So this is what we leverage to push down the spring that ultimately gives us the power in the gun. And then you'll notice on this one, the barrel stays fixed. You never disrupt the line that the projectile travels down on the 97. And that's arguably what makes it the top of the line spring gun. They're very accurate, they're very repeatable. And I've always been told that's one of the reasons why, is because the barrel stays fixed versus a break barrel where it's constantly resetting, and where it sets in relation to where the air comes from is very key, and repeatability is the idea here. So fixed barrel, you're gonna get really good accuracy, about as good as you can get with a spring gun. And then on the end of the barrel here, it's just kind of a barrel weight. It's really for looks. It doesn't do anything other than give us a better look. It has this little piece right here that houses the cocking arm and locks it firmly into place. So to get this cocking arm off, I need to push in on this detent to truly release it. Everything on this gun is very high end too. I don't want to glaze over that, but that's a great example of it. There's nothing loose, everything's metal, nothing's plastic, everything locks into place. It's using all metal and wood. I don't think you'll find any plastic on this gun. Just very high quality all the way around, from the cocking mechanism to the stock to the bluing. That's why we endorse the Weihrauch guns so heavily here. They're built to last a lifetime, and as long as you take basic care of them, you should never have any problems. On the top here, you have a 9.5 to 11 millimeter dovetail rail. That is machined. It's cut directly into the breech there. You don't have a piece that's stamped on. You don't have anywhere where metal is connected together. It's all cut right into it. It's all very much top of the line, the Weihrauch quality like we're talking about. The dovetail rail there is a great example of it. There's 3 holes on the top. You can't see them here, but there's 3 spots to anchor your scope, and that's to prevent sliding due to the recoil of the spring. So it's got an anchor point. I would highly recommend using a sports match style mount that utilizes that arrestor pin. We've put the DM60, which is a damp mount, on here, and really meant to absorb the recoil of the spring as best as possible. So DM60, and then attached to that, we have the MTC Ultralight 3 to 10. Down here underneath, we have, I mean, it's just the small things for me, but metal trigger guards. I really like metal trigger guards, and Weihrauchs have them, so I love that metal trigger guard right here. The Record triggers on these have been one of their more notable features for a long time. You can see your adjustment screw right there. It is a very crisp trigger. It really makes shooting a spring gun fun, and the ability to hone in your skills with the recoil and that really nice trigger. I think in terms of practice and precision and really what an air gun was meant to be when they first came around, this is what it is right here. It's really cool, and that's where a really good trigger and a really well-built gun feeds that and makes it possible to think of this as a training aid. They have a really well-built German-made product here. We'll talk about it when we talk about functionality. This is your safety right here. It's not resettable, but it engages every time you cock it. So it works as a fail-safe there, but that's what this is that's sliding out right here. There are a couple other things I want to touch on. These 2 screws right here, and then these 2 screws right here are the 4 stock screws that hold the stock to the action. It's good maintenance intermittently. Just make sure that those stay tight. The spring vibrating and causing all that vibration, they'll want to work free, and those will have a negative effect on accuracy if they start backing out. So intermittently, make sure all your stock screws stay nice and tight. Intermittently run a couple cleaning patches down the barrel. That's all you have to do with this gun. It's made to be used. So those 2 things plus a tiniest bit of maintenance. I mean, a little bit of spring cylinder oil every 3 years, and less is more with these guns. If you're using it, it will last a lifetime, and we're confident in putting that badge on a Weihrauch product. Weihrauch guns have a limited lifetime warranty. That doesn't cover a wearable surface like a piston seal necessarily, but we do feel confident enough in the gun that we back it with a lifetime warranty. So if you ever have a problem, just reach out to Air Guns of Arizona. They can get you taken care of. If it's a warranty that falls under manufacturer defect, there will never be an out-of-pocket cost to you. It's a great setup, I think, for doing any kind of shooting out to 50 yards, and I'm gonna prove it to you throughout this video if you stick with us. But accurate, not too heavy, and like I said, it's simple. Everything is right here. I don't have a tank. I don't have 4,000 pounds of pressure constantly with me to operate this thing. The guns are built very, very well. And like I said, if you follow just the basic of maintenance with these guns, you should never have a problem, and it should be something that you hand down to your kids someday. Thank you for sticking with us thus far. We have the HW97K back here at our 20-yard range. There are a couple things that we usually like to try and do here at 20 yards. With this gun being a spring gun and not a pre-charged gun, the first thing we're gonna do back here is talk about the operation and how you would safely fire this specific HW97K. So like we mentioned in the showroom, this is an under-lever cocking mechanism. So you push down right here with that detent, and that'll give you access to the cocking arm here. Keep in mind this is a big heavy spring inside of here, so we do need to be very careful when we are compressing it. There is a lot of energy that's generated potentially in that spring, so you just want to grab a good handle on it and you want to pull it down until you hear that click. So now that click means it's cocked. This is now loose and can go back up, but you really want to keep your hand on this arm. It's a safety thing while you load it. So I always keep my right hand there, and then we can just load our pellet nose first. That's directly into the breech inside of the barrel. So right now we have one loaded. The gun is cocked technically, so we're just gonna close this. And right now the gun is charged, but the safety is also engaged. So even though you just saw me cock it, I cannot fire it right now. This is a safety mechanism Weihrauch does, and it's a really good feature. What I have to do before I fire it, right here is the safety. And every time the gun's cocked, that pops out like a turkey timer. So now if I wanna fire it, I can disengage the safety, and now if I pull the trigger again, it will be live. So we'll just go ahead. So there we go. That is the basic operation of the spring piston gun. This arm pulling down into 90 cocks the spring in here. We put a pellet in here. The trigger decompresses the spring slaps into the piston seal, and the air that's created in that process forces the projectile down the barrel. It's really cool. Spring guns are a little dated, I guess, in today's PCP heavy world, but they're really cool. They make the simplicity of the sport really nice because all I need is my gun, the scope, a can of pellets, and I'm ready to hit the weekend for a whole shooting event. Okay, so there is 10 shots out of the HW97K here at 20 yards. I know with all the pre-charged guns we do, we get used to just one teeny tiny ragged hole. So it's not necessarily one ragged hole, but that is pretty much a ragged hole at 20 yards with a spring gun. I'm thrilled with that kind of consistency and repeatability. It shows you that at 20 yards, it's more than capable. Very accurate gun, as we can see from that. Wow, really impressive. Sometimes less is more, and sometimes older things can be just as fun as newer things. So I'm thrilled with the accuracy here at 20 yards. Hopefully it gives us a good insight. We might even try it at 50 if I'm feeling dangerous, but great group at 20 yards. Let's keep going. The next thing we're gonna do at 20 yards that we always try and do for you is give you an idea for velocity. So we have the 20 caliber here in front of us that we're gonna be doing heavy. So I'm gonna shoot a handful of the JSB heavy 20 cals and maybe some other pellets to give you an idea of velocity, as well as each caliber. We're gonna give you a good summary of what kind of power you could expect right out of the box. Okay, so velocity numbers, we're gonna start with the 177 caliber. And keep in mind with the spring gun, there are a lot of variables. So this isn't necessarily the Bible when it comes to what it has to be. It's gonna be somewhere in this ballpark. Each gun has a break-in period. So this gives you a rough idea of what you can expect. I shot all of these in 10-shot groups with H&N field target trophies. So 177 caliber, we were getting an average of about 840 to 850 feet per second, which is just around 13 foot-pounds. So it's very stout in 177. In the 22 caliber, we were averaging right around about 600 feet per second on average, and that would put us just north, right at about that 12 to 13 foot-pound energy barrier. So the 177 and the 22 in terms of energy output are both very similar. In the 20 cal like we were shooting here, the 11.4 grain field target trophies were traveling on average about 710 feet per second, which puts it at 12.7 foot-pounds of energy. Very near that 177 and 20 caliber. And last but not least is the big 25 caliber. I was shooting the 20.1 H&N field target trophies, average velocity right around 600 feet per second. So that one's at 16.4 foot-pounds. So if you look at those numbers, you don't really see a big difference between the FPE from 177 to 25. So there's no inherent advantage among the FAC guns. It's more what your needs are for the gun, because 177's moving faster. It's gonna get to a target quicker, but it also might over penetrate if you're trying to knock a pest off of a roof or something like that. So keep in mind what you're trying to do, and keep in mind that there isn't one inherent advantage in caliber over the other. Your energies at the end of the day are very similar. The accuracy is gonna be interchangeable. You can't go wrong with the caliber. It's more so what you need it for the job that you want the gun to do. The other thing we are gonna mention real quick when it comes to a spring gun is on the 20 cal here, I figured out the JSB heavy 20s gave me my best group. I shot every single 20 caliber I could get my hands on for at least 10 shots. You know pretty quickly, and the gun will tell you what pellet it likes, but each gun have the ability to be different. So don't get locked in on one. Be sure and try a variety of pellets. Let the gun tell you which one it groups best. And in most cases, it'll be something relatively similar. JSBs are always a good starting point, but I tried a lot of H&Ns. I tried Crossmans. I tried every pellet I could get my hand on and let the gun tells me which one shoots the best. Well, that is gonna do it for us here at 20 yards. We are actually gonna take it out to 50 yards and we're gonna try and put together a 5-shot group at 50 yards with the spring gun. So meet us out there, we'll do that, and then we'll meet you back in the showroom. Okay, we're feeling dangerous, so we're gonna shoot a 5-shot group out of the 97K and 20 cal at 50 yards. This is a long distance for a spring gun, but I'm gonna go ahead and see what kind of group we can hold together. We're using the JSB heavies and 20 cal, and we're gonna see what kind of group we can get. Okay, so that is 5 shots. They're all in the black, so it's kind of hard to see with the 10 power. Let's get down there and take a closer look. Here we have the 20 cal at 50 yards. I got these 3 right on the bullseye. Those are all 8, 9s, and 10s, and we got a couple stringing up here. So keep in mind it is a spring gun, so we're shooting at 50 yards, which is a long distance. This is the size of any pest elimination or small target or any kind of plinking fun you can have. I brought our 1-inch challenge coin here to give you an idea. So I basically touched 4 of them. The 5th one's outside that inch. But I would say with some practice and some break-in, I could get that under an inch without too much difficulty, I think. So great accuracy out of the 97K here at 50 yards. Meet me back in the showroom and we'll tie this one up for you. So there you have seen our entire review of the HW97K. Hopefully right now you are appreciative as I am of the overall build quality of this gun, the amazing stock in front of us, all the metal working, the bluing, the attention to detail that is put into this gun to make it a gun that will be a generational piece in your family is off the charts. So even though, like we said, the technology that runs it with a spring is kind of dated, these are still very much adult air rifles that sometimes make it more simple to enjoy the hobby. So don't overlook the spring guns next time you're trying to figure out what gun you need for your backyard. I can full-heartedly endorse any of the Weihrauch product, but having just done this 97K, if you put your hands on one, I can guarantee you're gonna be impressed with both the build quality and the performance of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found yourself wanting maybe to try one of these guns, and if that's the case, please go over to airgunsofArizona.com, email us, call us, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Instagram, do whatever you can to stay up to date with us, and we will be sure and be there when you call. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.